Decode podcast here from Global Electronics Association Apex Expo 2026 in the recording booth with Mike Durkin from actnano. Mike is a sales manager, and we're glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen. Great to meet you all in person. Daniel, meeting for the first time after working together for 2 years.
Yep.
You as well, Sean.
Isn't it amazing how their handsomeness translates into real person? Like
I mean, LinkedIn is one.
You think it's filters, but it's actually just them.
It does look like Snapchat filters because of how, good it is.
Tell us a bit about your history with actnano and maybe some of actnano's history as well.
Sure, yeah. I've been with actnano for coming up on a year. I think like 10, 11 month mark. Time flies when you're having fun. Been in electronics manufacturing for going on 3. Been working off and on with Daniel and Aurora for around 2. On LinkedIn content and more technical side of things as well. The history of the company spans back probably 14 years when we started developing our first conformal nano coating. Kind of bringing a different approach to how to protect the surface of printed circuit boards that just clears up all of the headaches that we all know conformal coatings cause. Like, nobody's using a conformal because they're like, I would love to do this, right? It's like they've exhausted almost all options and now they have to. And so when folks end up in that we have to situation, we try to make it as little of a nightmare as possible.
Which I think we have to is increasingly the case now, right? I mean, as evidenced by the plethora of dispensing and spraying equipment here.
You bring up the equipment. Does yours work with equipment? Is it a dip process, a traditional spray? How are you guys applying it?
Good question. Typically, it would be standard conformal coating equipment. A lot of our customers actually come from potting or, a more traditional conformal coating and hear about some of the, whether it's performance advantages or manufacturing process advantages that we offer, and they think of their own process, and we can almost be like a drop-in replacement on very standard equipment.
Is the laptop still working?
The laptop is still working at now day 3 of having a consistent stream of water going directly into the keyboard.
It's pretty cool. At their booth, they have a really cool setup. There's an IBM ThinkPad or something like that, and there's just water spraying on the space bar and the continuous. And we saw it on Tuesday, and if that doesn't say that it works, then I don't know what else would.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a harsh environment, you ask me, actually actively getting rained on.
I'm almost partial to the other demo we have up there is the GPU board. I'm partial because you can see the water directly hitting the surface of the board. The laptop is more implied, like, trust us, it is going into those keys, but the GPU that's covered in water that is then directly hooked up with an HDMI cable showing the video of how we coated the GPU is kind of a beautiful thing.
And that's the beauty of like your type of product. And you talk about like the pain points that you remove is the masking side, you know, and it's just so time consuming. And I can't tell you like the amount of customers that I've came across and they're like, why is this costing so much? And I'm like, because you have 45 keep outs, right? I don't know what else to tell you. Like I have to.
Or why is our scrap rate so high? And it's like, 45 keep outs a board, however many boards you're running through, you're not going to make 100% of those masks perfect.
No, you won't get 100% yield on a process like that.
Right.
I mean, if you take your time,
if you're really tedious,
3D print the right stuff, I think you can. Yeah.
3D print.
It's just
their masking.
Yeah, that's what I've been going with lately. And then sometimes I'll do actually tape over it too. And
the tape is what I was thinking about.
Don't get me wrong. There will be xylene involved, right? There will be some definitely removing of conformal coating in areas that didn't get in, right, on first couple especially, right? But yeah, I mean, it's just the time consuming, right? Because it's like 30 seconds each one minimum of doing that. And then you got 3D print, which takes hours on top of that, right?
Right.
And then depending on the quantity of boards, I mean, it just had one.
Might have been done already if you were just
exactly.
Right?
And then, or I could spray it in 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like
and spray it in 10 seconds and end up with actually more comprehensive protection of the board, right? Anything you're masking is now typically a metallic surface that is prone to corrosion and still exposed to whatever element you're protecting all of the other capacitors from.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a magic goop,
Right.
because I remember the first time I showed my engineer some type of stuff like this, and he was like, "So you're telling me the pins still connect?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still conductivity still is there." Right?
Well, that's why trade shows for us, this is my Super Bowl personally. Like, it's one thing to tell people over Zoom that this works. It's another thing to say, here, we coded this breadboard of pins. Attach that connector with the battery on the other side and watch the little LED display light up. Like,
And
Yes.
you could even like code it real time too. Like
Yeah.
Nick was showing us the other day, right? Like he's like, look, we're going to take some off this resistor. We're going to put it back on. And then there it is right there. And you could test that resistor and still see that it's connected. you
right.
know?
Our rework demo too
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like exactly how quick and easy it is to just drop a solvent, little Q-tip, soldering iron, and then take a drop of the conformal right back on.
It was a perfect demo because we were looking at it and seeing it under light, and I'm like, why are those two slightly different shades? What's going on there? It's like, let me show you. When you remove it, it's like, oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
One of the things I enjoy about Apex is being able to kind of see what's coming, what's down the road. And something that caught my mind when we were in your booth was the PFAS-Free alternative, right? So we're going to talk to another Mike after this, who lives in the cleaning world, and he often talks about the Montreal Accord, where they basically took away like the critical element in most commercially available cleaners. It kind of feels that the coating world might have a similar impact when PFAS is no longer permitted.
We're seeing it. Some customers are absolutely. You have two camps, right? You have the getting ahead of it folks that we're already talking to, and then you have the people that are waiting for it to be regulated out and just kind of signing up for like a hair on fire.
Waiting until they absolutely have to.
Right.
And then it's just, it's a 5-alarm fire at that point.
Yeah, right.
Are you able to create a coating that performs very well still, or is it like sugar-free soda, right?
Are there drawbacks?
It's kind of like it, but it doesn't taste the same.
Look, there are trade-offs anywhere. I would say the main trade-off between us and PFAS would be the handling. Well, our gel state is a soft, state that the coating exists in, right? So I would say for the UV curing and hardening PFAS materials, you can be very rough with them, right? And you get some of those mechanical support advantages as well. That's probably the only drawback I can think of.
Just a little less robust. You got to handle it with a bit of kid gloves until it gets into his final home.
Right, but let's be honest, people are doing that anyway. I mean, people are training their operators to grab the boards by the side because...
Right, we should be, right?
Yeah, because if you're pre-conformal and you don't grab it by the side, all of a sudden you're introducing fingerprints underneath, and that nobody wants that either.
What are you wearing?
Oh, this little thing?
I was just like, it just hit me like, what?
I just usually wear this out and about.
Is that a Nebraska thing? Just,
Mike brought
40
this.
millimeter Cuban links with water in them.
Mike, you might be able to tell us a little bit more about this than I can.
Looking for my little flashlight, but I don't seem to have it. Where is it?
Flashlight.
Oh, it fell into the chair. There it is. So yeah, this is one of our more portable demos. If this translates to camera, that would be awesome, just to show the UV
It's glowing
tracer.
pretty good in real life.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the main PCB and the only PCB for just a $20 Anchor speaker off Amazon. We deconstructed in the lab and coated that entire board with zero masking, including antenna, RF module, 2 connectors that you can see right there, the USB connector, multiple buttons at the top, and a switch for the power on and off, and that LED, including undercoating all of the SMT components there. And you can see that board has been submerged for now 3 days, 2.5 days. And
So it obviously...
And this isn't a simple assembly, right? I mean, there's some bottom terminate. Oh my God.
Nobody beat us, fires and heat us in fritters. We want the land folks loves to cook. Under the stewy after.
Okay, we've seen some pretty cool parlor tricks this week, but that might take the bag.
Yeah,
That's pretty
and
good.
the icing on top is just like a 6-inch thick Cuban link gold chain.
Yeah. You promised I could keep it. That
Yeah.
was nice of
Absolutely. Our
I'd
gift.
be worried about going through the airport with that thing. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, right. What
The only thing you have to worry about in the airport is people stopping to take pictures of you.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
but
broke that
that's-
puppy out first at CES in Vegas. Oh, true, yeah. 3.1, just over the line.
But the coolest thing is, and it might not show up in camera, but like that is not a simple assembly, right? I mean, there's some challenging to coat features on there.
No, and even, I mean, whatever, small passives and things like that, that's, easy as it gets. But you're talking about like the RF modules and the switches and the things that actually need to still operate mechanically and have a certain resistivity level and a certain conductivity. And I mean, and
Is that
this
your
coating-
brainchild?
No, I have to give all credit to Caitlin behind the camera. She is the demo queen, set up everything you see over at our booth.
You're a little different than us. We like to keep all the credit and attention on this side of the camera and just pretend that the other side of the camera doesn't exist.
I
But
can in good faith.
He's my brother behind the camera. I can get away with that.
The one thing I like about that is that the signal still connects. I find so many people with antennas and RF modules that
Oh, that's
refuse to believe that we can conformal coat. The most signal attenuating thing around that PCB is actually the water itself and not the coat.
So how do you get past the data sheet? Because like I'm sure tons of these components are going to tell you that you can't do what you're doing. So how do you qualify it for people who are afraid of it?
It's a good question. Seeing is believing, and the tests speak for themselves. So in our headquarters in Boston, we have not only 4 coating machines from 3 different brands to be able to run, tests on throughput and the different coating profiles that we want to make for our customers, but we also, right next to them, have essentially an entire reliability suite built out of high temp, high humidity chambers and salt fog chambers and thermal shock that goes crazy low and crazy high, just to, validate for ourselves that, hey, when we coat this at this thickness, it is going to work the way we say it does.
And when I talked to Nick, he was telling me that there's varying stages of those thicknesses, right? So
Right.
which one was this one coated in? And if you could kind of walk us through all the different ones.
3 milligrams per centimeter? Yeah. With undercoating, yep. So it's going to be around, 45 microns? 30 microns of material is left behind. It's applied at 3 milligrams per centimeter.
And there was
squared.
like different types of coating you could buy from you guys that are specific to how thick of a deposit, right?
So that'll be on the process side. That's one of the levers that we can pull using our reliability suite. So, for example, we have a customer that already has a very robust housing, and they're just they're seeing a tiny bit of moisture ingress, and they're worried about it in the field. So they're doing a belt and suspenders, and we can apply just one quick pass of coating to make sure everything's covered. People that are relying more on the coating itself to withstand, near engine function, and they're going from negative 40C up to 150, we're going to add a couple more layers because it's going to be a very corrosive and harsh environment. But one of the levers that we can pull is actually the amount of passes that we do with the spray. If you do one, you're going to be around 10 microns, but as you go up and stack them on top of each other, it actually doesn't hurt throughput that much, and you end up building up a layer of thickness for protection.
So the thickness control is achieved by multiple passes, not so much like a dispense rate, or both.
It's more of just an amount of passes. The dispense rate essentially stays the same.
I kind of want to play that again. If people want to check out what's going on at actnano, get in touch with you and see some of your solutions. Where do they find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn, Mike Durkin, actnano.com. You can reach out to info@actnano.com, and we're happy
Your
to help.
content's been fantastic, by the way.
Thank
Those
you very
videos,
much.
when you any of those real life examples like this, that, you get to offer people.
Much inspired by yourself.
The feed, you always stop on a video like that.
Yeah, right. And you shot.
Yeah, I feel like there's certain certain spots in the industry that are just gold mine for content, like the X-ray and the CT
Sean
guys,
Kincaid.
and then this kind of stuff, right? Because it's just really damn cool, but it does also a really great job of exhibiting how effective it is.
The imaging technologies are one thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm partial to protecting some of the most critical components in the world.
Yeah.
That's a good line.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, Jen.
Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in.